All right, let's get after this Golf Pilates workout. You can go ahead and grab a golf club. Definitely grab a mat or somewhere comfortable to do this workout. Then you could grab a weight as well as a ball if you have one. We're going to start with some hip rotators. So you're going to start in your golf stance and just rotate your hips, alternating one hip after the other, internally and externally. Just like you're transferring your weight between the two, and then bring your toes towards each other in a pigeon pose and go ahead and just rotate those hips internally. So you're just transitioning your weight between those two, starting to loosen up through the hips. Awesome job. Now we're going to transition down onto the ground. I want you to bring your right knee out in front of you in a 90-degree angle, your left leg behind you in a 90-degree angle, and we're just going to transition, sending our knees from the right side of our body to the left side of our body. Added extra stability challenge, can you bring that club out in front of you with nice long arms? So you're just going to swish your knees from the left side of your body on over to the right, opening up through those hips, starting to stabilize with those core muscles. Beautiful. Now this one is a fun one. We're going to transition on over into a pigeon pose. So give me a moment here. I'm going to send my right leg out in front of me, bent out in front of me, left leg extends, and then I'm just going to make some small rotations with my spine. So I'm grabbing that club, extending it nice and long and strong out in front of me, and then I'm just using my chest to open from one direction back to center and the opposite direction. Flip on over to the other leg. So go ahead and send that left leg out in front of you, right leg extends nice and long, and then we're going to start rotating through that chest, using that torso to twist. Now one side you'll be able to twist a little bit more than the other. That's totally fine. Be very curious with your body. Just tiny little twist here, keeping those arms extended out in front of you. Beautiful, finding that mobility and that awesome spinal rotation, which is really going to help us with our golf swings. Friends, and now the fun begins. We're going to make our way onto standing on our mat. And go ahead and kneel down with your right knee as you extend your left leg long, and then come on back up with your left leg. So we're going down into that pigeon pose, sending our right knee down, extending that left leg nice and long, and then standing on up with that left leg, right leg follows. So just get this hang of this for these few reps. You can send that club out in front of you nice and strong, and we're just coming on up to standing, sending our right knee down, left leg extends long, and then all the way up. If this is too much, you can always do a kneeling to squat if this is too much for your knees. Now we're going to do that same thing just with the different legs. So this time go down with your left leg, extend your right leg long, and then we're coming on up with that right leg back to that squat. Just flow through this a few times. Coming on up into a squat, sending your left knee down, right leg extends, and then pull that right leg up. Coming back to something nice and simple, we're going in for an overhead lunge, sending that club a little higher up in your arms, nice and strong, and then I want you to squat back, getting as deep as you possibly can, sending those hips all the way back and down, really leading with those heels, and then powering up nice and tall. Beautiful job. Now coming into a nice wide stance, we're going to take that club out in front of us and send opposite hand to opposite toe for some windmills here. Starting to, again, really warm up through the core and that spinal rotation, as well as loosen up through those hamstrings. Those are really important in the golf swing as well. Beautiful. You're just going to flow through this, sending right hand to left toe, back to center, and left hand to right toe. Awesome. Now we're going to make our way back down to laying on our mat, peeling our spine up into a bridge position, nice and strong here. We're going to send that club just to the very top of our thighs and alternate marching out through those knees, sending our left leg to 90-degree angle, right leg to 90-degree angle as we keep our hips nice and high, square to the sky. Beautiful. As you do this, try to make it a little more explosive on the way up, driving those knees up and down. Pressing those shoulder blades down into the mat and sending those hips up high to the sky. Gently peel your spine back down to the mat and send both legs now up to tabletop position. We're going to extend through the right leg and alternate extending through the left leg. Starting to really warm up through that core. Beautiful. We're just alternating leg extensions here. Option to send those legs nice and high to the sky if that feels a little more challenging for you, or you can keep them at tabletop. Then both feet back down to the mat. That club extends high above our head, and we're going to send both of our knees and ankles peeled together on over to the left side of our mat, then on over to the right side of our mat. And as you do that, send your arms slightly over at an angle to the opposite side. So we're getting a little twist action here, sending our knees on over to the other side as we send our hands a few inches opposite of our knees. Awesome. Let's rock ourselves on up to seated. We can go ahead and set that club aside, and we're going to come to seated in a nice tall posture. Our feet out in front of us, hip width apart, our arms at a T position, and we're going to twist through our chest, sending our opposite pinky finger to our opposite pinky toe. So getting a nice, beautiful spinal rotation. This is called the saw in Pilates. This is beautiful for flexibility, and we are, of course, using our core. Awesome. So we're coming out into a nice tall posture, sending our arms to a T, and then twisting through our torso and chest, sending opposite pinky to opposite pinky toe. Great time to take a break, take a quick sip of water, towel off if you need to. An option to grab a ball. This is optional. You can grab really any household item. I'm going to use a Pilates ball for this video, and you're going to send that ball out in front of you in your chest, and we're going to go ahead and lunge back with our right leg, twisting on over to the left side, just a slight twist, and then alternate that, going back in a lower lunge with your left leg, twisting to the right. This is an added balance challenge here, so really try to stay nice and sturdy, knitting that rib cage together, and then just finding that slight rotation, sending those arms on over to the right side of the room, and then on over to the left side of the room. Now this time we're going to send that right leg back into that backwards lunge and hold that low lunge, sending our arms to the left and then to the right, finding that spinal rotation, just twisting left to right here, holding that strong low lunge. Want your knee and ankle in line with each other. That heel is raised on that right foot, and you're just finding that nice reach and rotation on both sides. Little bonus challenge here. Can you raise that left heel for the last few reps? Drop that heel, staying in this low lunge. We're going to hug the ball to our chest and then extend that ball out long to the right side. Just flowing through this, hugging that ball into the chest and then twisting through that spine on over to the right side towards that knee. Final move here. This is optional. We're going to send that left heel up and just sway forward an inch, back an inch, hugging into that ball. Now this could be a little challenging. If it is, just drop that left heel and find a tiny pulse in this nice lower left lunge, squeezing into whatever weight or ball you have. Nice strong tall posture, and you're pulsing up and down, or you're lifting that left heel and gliding forward an inch, back an inch. Beautiful balance challenge. You got this. Now go ahead and switch your foot. This time I want you to send your left leg back. You're going to send that ball out in front of you and just rotate from one direction, then to the other direction. Holding that ball or that weight nice and strong, keeping that left leg back. That right knee and ankle are in one straight line, knitting that rib cage together. Now you'll notice again, one side you may rotate a little bit more than the other. Stay curious, start small, and then as you warm up, take those rotations a little bit wider. Now the option to raise that right heel for a little added challenge. Left leg stays back, right leg is still bent. We're going to go in for those chest hugs and then extend on over to that left side towards that left front knee. Beautiful. Finding that spinal rotation. Just flow through these chest hugs, extend out long, and then rotate on over to the left. Final move, keep that left leg back in that nice low lunge. Option to raise those heels and sway forward an inch, back an inch as you hug into that ball. Or you can always keep that front heel planted on the ground and just pulse up an inch, down an inch, finding that nice strong strength there. Little balance challenge. Forward an inch, back an inch, or up an inch, down an inch. You got this. Okay, let's be done with those lunges. We're going to come down into a chair pose. Feet are together, hips are sent back. We're going to hug into that ball or that weight into prayer arms and send opposite elbow to opposite knee. So we're finding that nice spinal rotation here. Now, if you don't have a ball, you can just put your hands in prayer position like me and just alternate with your elbows still. To that nice deep squat, we're going to do ball taps and reach up. So we're going to tap the ball to the outside of our left foot, reach up nice and high, and then to the outside of our right foot, reach up nice and high, and just keep alternating those taps. transition down into an all-four tabletop position. If you have that ball, grab it and bring it in between your shin and hamstring. You can do this without the ball. You're just going to bring your knee to the outside like a side hydrant. Bring that knee out and then back in to square. So almost like you're drawing a little half circle with your knee out to the side and then back into center. This is amazing for golf as we do a lot of internal, external rotation with our hips during our golf swing. This will help you get nice and loose and also use that core stability because we're staying on all fours here in a tabletop position. So just swing that knee out to the side and then back into center. You can do this without the ball. Now, if you have that ball or weight, grab it and put it between the opposite hamstring and calf. If not, totally fine. We're going to send that opposite knee out to the side and then back up to center. So again, drawing that little half circle with our knee, staying in that tabletop position. See if you can do this without moving your upper body, really just sending that knee out to the side and back to center, really challenging our mobility and our hip flexibility. Amazing work. Let's take a nice deep child's pose here, sending those hips back, arms out in front of us, forehead down to the mat. All right, we're going to flip on over to our back now, going for some fun single leg bridges. So if you have that ball, go ahead and send that ball underneath your left leg. If you don't, that's totally fine. Plant both feet onto the mat. We're just going to lift our hips on up towards the sky as we send our arms above our head and then out in a 90-degree angle for like a little chest press. Beautiful. Sending those hips up and down as we send those arms out, down, up, and a chest press. Flowing through this, making this nice and strong. Alrighty, then gently lower your spine back down onto the mat. We're going to switch that ball, or if you're using a block, or if you're not using either, just switch on over and you could elevate your opposite heel so you isolate that next leg a little bit more. We're just going to send our hips on up to the sky. Beautiful. Then option to add in those arms, so you can send those arms up to the sky, lower down, then back up to center and chest press it out. Gently lower your spine flat back down onto the mat. You can just get rid of that ball, weight, or block, tossing it to the side. We're going to finish off with some dead bugs, sending your legs to tabletop. You're going to send opposite leg long and opposite hand long. So sending your right leg and left arm long behind you, and then alternate that, sending the opposite leg long as you send the opposite hand long. As you do this, you want to keep that pelvis kind of rooted down into the mat. You'll have a natural arch in your spine, and you're really looking to add some extension using that core powerhouse to keep you nice and stabilized. And you are finished. Amazing job. I hope you enjoyed this 20-minute Golf Pilates workout. You can always do this a couple of times through.